I remember that.
And I came off, after the scene, I was, coming back, and I walk around the corner, and I was like, I didn't realize there's a mirror here, and there's a little costume designer. She just dressed like me in the smaller version of the costume and put a little fake beard here, and then dirtied herself up. It was just like, hey, what's up, Jackson? Oh, I was like, I wish I would have seen you 5 minutes ago. You could have been my butt double. It would have made this film a whole lot more sexy.
One funny thing was that they had a problem with the barbecue, and I did a scene with Dan and with my friend Dan and Dan.
Oh yeah, the burgers were really burnt, right? You still like it?
I had no burger bites.
Yeah. Also, there's a scene in which the lovely Shannon Woodward is bathing, and we had to reshoot that scene, 3 times because Evan kept falling asleep. He got sick during the shoot and was on a lot of medication, and there are close-ups of him with Shannon disrobing in the bathroom, and he's like, of all the scenes, I personally think he was just faking falling asleep, so we had to keep reshooting.
I just want to say, from the sick days, I had such a surrogate mother who took care of me. Her name is Kathy, and I thank her for all the rules that she
The real mom is a surrogate mother. Thank you. We had some amazing, wonderful people on our set at all times, giving everything to make this film happen. So, we have a lot of people here tonight, and so first and foremost to them, give us a round of applause because they've been amazing. So I think we have time for a few more questions. So let's keep raising. There we go. Hey.
Yeah, I was really struck by the kind of visuals of the cache. I felt like the cache was almost like the character in the film. And I couldn't help but think about, this is my second time to see it, so I was thinking in particular about power and the use of power in the cache. Just pretty much touched every character in one way or another. I wonder, how did you guys converse about that on set, and has it changed the way you think about money and power? And sex, just being a part of this film?
It's an interesting question. You asked about the presence and thematic element of cash in the film. Ben is allergic to money conversations. So, but it's interesting. It's a good question. That was a very, big element in the filmmaking. And that's actually one thing Justin and we over at 100 Monkeys would talk a lot about, was anytime that cash was brought up, we wanted a certain thematic element within the music. And so we utilized a lot of, like Ben was saying before, kind of a toy orchestra. We used a little children's piano, one of those like Schroeder pianos that you see, to kind of get this music box kind of sound to it. But we wanted it to sound like a broken lullaby.
Play money, kind of.
Yeah, play money, exactly.
Yeah. Spending it. Yeah, there was a. Yeah, I mean, it's really funny you brought up the money. That I actually really enjoyed. There's these cues that the Monkeys did that just felt really young and playful, and just kind of somehow they fit right at the moments when all the money showed up. And so I kind of talked to the band about coming up with this thematic music kind of theme of the playfulness and the youth and the innocence of character being big, heavy things like money and sex and power being treated with a kind of playfulness. So I don't know much about music, so I'll take it up from there. But you guys maybe in the band want to talk about what you guys did musically to kind of play with the youth and the playfulness of the themes in the movie musically.
Definitely.
Ben and
Yeah, you want to talk about a little bit about the music?
Yeah, you want to jump on this one, Ben?
Well, we just played around a lot, really. We took advantage of the opportunity to be really creative with the score, because it's a really beautiful film, the way it moves visually, and that just gave us a lot of opportunity to to really experiment and explore with the way we made the music, with how we played the instruments. You know, as they were saying, we used a little toy piano, and Jackson would play guitar with a bow, and we would play with an electric bass in ways that you don't usually play it. So that was really why it was so wonderful to work on, I think, is because we got to just be really creative and inventive and just kind of, as Jerad was saying earlier, think outside the box.
Even the way that, I mean, these guys were kind of engineering it in a lot of ways, and like just placing the microphone in specific ways would change the way, you know, the instrument sounded. I remember like when we were trying to get this drum sound, we spent like an hour trying to place the damn microphones just right, and it pays off though. So those little things you don't necessarily think about go into the creative process of the score.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, we've got about 5 minutes left, so if we have a couple more questions, yes, sir, right here.
Yeah, I have a question about the end of the film. There's a pretty clear choice that, Justin, you made to not show them having sex. And so I think it strikes everyone that, that's a choice that you have to make, and why do you do that?
Okay.
Why did you make the choice, Justin?
The ending of the film is very, very, we thought a lot about it, and by the end, by the time we're ready to shoot, the film really does utilize a lot of mystery. The first shot, you get to hear Evan for about 2 minutes before you get to see his face. And so thematically, I really wanted you to want to see more than I actually let you. I enjoy filmmaking that allows you to give about 60%, and then you, the audience, have to fill in about 40. Not everyone's into that, but it's something that I really think is necessary in order to get you to interact several times in the film. So the last scene, I feel like it was a really private moment, and I think everyone knows exactly what happened, and your imagination of what happened is probably stronger than having seen it. Also, there's a lot of filmmakers that have done things like that that I really enjoyed and think it worked really well in, and I really enjoy hearing it. I think hearing it, when you're robbed of sound, I think you get to really, your ears perk up a little bit. There are many versions of the end that were devised. That one was landed on for myriad reasons. Those are a couple. But
It's also an homage to old filmmaking.
Yeah.
It's an homage to old style filmmaking where you would see these characters and the camera would drift off into the window and you would watch the beautiful elements of nature, because as our lovely star here described it, it is the nature of love. It's not so much the physical element. It's the emotion. Yeah, it's the holding hands at the end. If you notice, after that last moment, and they're walking down away together, and the music comes in, and Evan's character isn't, over ecstatic like in the American Pie movie. This is someone who believes in the nature of love, as opposed to any kind of physical devices that we may attribute to it. And I think it's one of those things that it really is telling that when they hold hands, that smile rings out across his face, much like a cell phone ringing in a theater. All right, we only have time for 2 more questions, so yes, ma'am.
It's very clear, or I was under the impression that both Simon and Russ were dead. Why did you decide to make them both be fine in the end?
Why did Simon and Russ get to survive?
Dark
because that's what the script said. I honestly, I wrote this movie almost 3 years ago. There was a reason. I don't remember. No, I mean, the stories about Russ, the stories about Candy and Evan and the evolution of their relationship. I like to tease you into thinking that there are some other things that are going to take over, but really, watching that progression is really what the movie's about. So I'm sure that that's what it was for.
Okay, we got time for one last question. So if you have a question for our amazing lead actor, Evan Sneider, please. Please. Anybody have a question for Evan? Yes, sir.
Did you ever show this to a festival called Sprout, people with disabilities? I think this was a really good idea for the Sprout Festival.
Jack. Here we go.
I just want to say we have a celebrity in the audience with us. Chris Burke from Life Goes On is here. Chris, you've been a very big inspiration to Evan. He's mentioned you ever since I've met. And since I've known Evan, he's talked about you as one of his role models and inspirations to becoming an actor. So thank you very much. And your question was about bringing it in.
If this is a good idea for the Sprout films.
Oh, yeah, we've been in touch with them. We might play there. Absolutely. Yeah. Evan, is there anything you want to say before we have to get kicked out of here for the 10 o'clock show?
Thank you so much, Chris, for your wonderful comment. It really means a lot to me that you came. So thank you, Chris. You made this dream come true for me.
All right, well, thank you all so much for coming out, supporting Girlfriend. Because of you, we're able to extend our theatrical release here in New York City. So thank you all very much from all the actors, composers, director, writer, and our wonderful star. Thank you all, and have a good night.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I don't know how to turn this off.
Thank you very much.
How's it going?
It's still rolling. It's still rolling.
What's that? No, yeah, I saw you.
Do you want to see the picture?
Remember in Toronto where they're that was right before she got tired.
Yeah.
No problem.
Saw it happen.
Just so
She
you
was
know,
like,
they gotta get me going at 10 o'clock, so we're gonna talk, let's talk.
Are you guys going at 10 o'clock too?
Yeah.
I was actually here for the 5:50.
She was.
Because I wanted to see you without all
It's
these
my
guys.
third time. It's my
I'm with my sister.
It was definitely a difference between before and now. It was an amazing film. We sat there and wanted to smack Jackson. It's a good thing. Yeah,